We haven't started off the show with a dad joke in a while.
It's been so nice.
Oh, come on. Haters gonna hate.
So, Sam, just let him tell the stupid dad joke so we can move on with
You're
the
usually on my corner on this.
Why are you being so dark side?
All right, here it goes. Here it goes. Speaking of dark side, Star Wars. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. What goes? Ha, 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 ha. Ugh. Thump.
I really don't know what goes ha 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 thump.
You got to separate the thump.
Thump.
It's an Imperial officer laughing at Darth Vader.
It's a bad joke. You came up with that one, didn't you?
No, I stole it. It was good. I will mercifully start the show after these ads, specifically chosen to allow us to take a moment to rethink our lives. This is Tatooine Sons.
Chuta, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and in light of recent trailers, anime fans.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in today. If you want some really cool pop culture merch, including some new Star Wars anime themed-ish shirts, go to our TeePublic store. We got the link in the show notes.
Got a Darth Vader samurai.
Okay, that's cool. Like those statues you see sometimes in Celebration.
Yeah.
Go to our link in the show notes to browse our TeePublic store. What's cool is 100% of the proceeds from your purchase actually go to help a child living in extreme poverty through One Child. So you get some cool merch and you get to help a kid along the way. So why not use our link?
Yeah.
It's true. All of it.
What is the name of the porg on the Millennium Falcon?
Force is strong in my family.
What do you think his name is? It's a big moment.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Maybe Turbis?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Turbis? Pablo, if you're listening to this live stream, that porg's name is now Turbis. It's a good Star Wars name.
We're not done yet.
These guys recorded an awesome podcast called Tatooine Sons. Everybody listen to that.
So was it as hard as you think it's going to be?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Just a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with.
Like, are the classes going to be super overwhelmingly difficult? Or
I
is it
can't
just
tell
the
right now. This is still early stuff, but it's a lot for sure.
Maybe Nate, how's your class?
It was great. I walk in there and he's just is like, here, do this Canvas survey and then leave. It took me 25 minutes in that class for an hour and 20 normal.
Congratulations to college, right?
Yeah. Hey, it's nice. And I don't even have homework.
Yeah, cool. Well, welcome to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. We believe that pop culture is the mythology of this generation. Mythology is big in anime.
Oh,
really?
it is.
Well, like Eastern, mythology.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a story. It's written on our souls, and these myths speak to that story, and that is why we talk about Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and movies and TV, and whatever we feel like this week. I am the dad.
Hello, Father.
I'm David. That's my name. I'm joined by a couple of really awesome sons. Nate, how you doing?
I'm good.
You excited about this new segment?
I am. There's a lot, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, tell them what you're talking about.
Movies.
just movies in general.
Like so much. We're doing reviews. We're doing previews of what's coming this weekend. We're doing reviews of those from critics and audience.
Yeah, we're going to be
trailers.
your source for movie information going into the weekend.
Yep.
We're excited about that. Sam, what are you talking about? Of course.
Episode 2 of What If.
That was
what else?
I literally stood there staring at the TV for 45 seconds, just kind of going, what am I looking at this one scene? We'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that.
Absolutely. So,
what about you, Dad?
I did not anticipate having as much to talk about this week. Yeah. Star Wars.
I saw your notes. They're quite extensive.
I'm very excited about talking about Star Wars Visions, but we'll come to that in a minute. Nate, how's so your birthday was a couple weekends ago.
It was.
You got the Compendium 2 and 3 of Invincible, which are each 4,000 pages each or something.
I know they're 1,100.
1,100 each.
Oh, that's not that bad.
And you are finishing that tonight, you think, before bed?
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm.
And
Finishing
so,
all three
without
seasons.
spoiling Invincible for anyone that hasn't read it, or for your dad who's only seen season 1 of the TV series, on a scale of 1 to 10 superheroes, what would you give it so far?
What do you mean superheroes?
Just like that,
Just
like
like
1 to 10
that's the
stars.
placeholder for stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably an 8. It really all depends on how the ending is.
Right now,
but
it's a-
right now, with the direction they're going for the ending, it's very good, very well done.
Can it go up even?
It could if they do it right.
Okay.
It definitely. But there's a lot of things that I'm really appreciating of the comic right now. So
Okay.
Very cool.
Very cool. Sam, you got a busy weekend.
Very busy.
But it's not about you, is it?
No.
This weekend is all about
It's about me.
girl.
Savannah, my girlfriend, she's turning.
She's
20,
been on the show.
Savvy,
Yeah.
yes. She's turning 20 this weekend.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So-
and I can attend this birthday.
Now, she doesn't know what you're doing this evening, does she?
Oh no, Nathan spoiled it.
Well, okay, I did not know you were on a call. I didn't.
Oh,
and I didn't know that
no.
you didn't even tell her.
Okay, so you didn't tell her you were going to...
We're going to this play Clue in the
like the
local
movie,
theater.
but a play
Right.
version of it. Yeah.
She didn't know and
Until
then
Sam spoiled, or Nathan spoiled it.
Yeah,
It's not my fault.
she's like, I kind of
is.
figured,
It's not.
but she's like, I didn't know
That's cool.
for sure. But
So you got that today, and then...
tomorrow this is like her friend's birthday party, like where she's having friends over. So we're going to the wharf and hanging out, and we're probably gonna go see Free Guy at 2.
This will be the second time we've seen Free Guy. We'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about that a little bit. And then in the evening...
And then we're having dinner at her house and doing the whole skate.
And all of us are going to that, too. So.
And then Sunday, it's like more of her like family day, and I'll be hanging out with her then too. So
Very
busy
cool.
weekend.
Yeah, that's cool. We had a kind of a cool surprise at your birthday time.
Yeah, that was interesting.
We usually let people choose a movie to watch in the family when we're hanging out during birthday time. BB Nate shockingly chose a Batman movie. He chose Batman Begins and watched that. Actually,
It was Batman Begins a long time before that. It was like
a few weeks
week and
before
a
that.
half.
Yeah, and Mom watched that with you, and
She enjoyed it.
she enjoyed it, and so we ended up watching The Dark Knight on your birthday, and she enjoyed that one too, and came to us and said,
She wanted to, what's the next one in the series? And I said Dark Knight Rises, and she's like, okay, well, we need to watch it at some point. So I think that night or the night after, we watched Dark Knight Rises.
and then what did she say after that? Like a couple days later,
she's like, is there any more in that series? And I was like, no, but there's Man of Steel, and Christopher Nolan worked on that.
so we'll watch that tonight while
Yeah.
Sam's on his date with his girl. So
Hopefully we'll get her.
we'll be curious. We'll
inducted
keep you
into that.
posted because we were surprised she liked the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll do that tonight. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well,
Let's talk about this Visions thing. I was, I'm just going to be honest, transparent here. Not toxic. That's not the way I am, but I was admittedly not all that hyped about the new, anime series that's coming out in September. It's entitled Star Wars Visions. My perspective, my take on it, was, that's a cool idea. I'm happy for the anime fans. They can have their fun with it. And then the trailer released this week along with the episode descriptions. And just a moment of complete honesty, I'm in the process of taking Japanese lessons now.
Bulky religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
Lucasfilm and Matt Art was taking us and showing us like stuff about Kurosawa and talking about Kurosawa and stuff like that. And I think you feel a lot of Kurosawa in this Visions trailer. Did you guys see some of that?
Definitely. Yeah. Lots of samurai influence, which makes sense.
It was, it's pretty exciting stuff. So obviously we're talking about the Star Wars Visions trailer that came out a couple of days ago, 4 days ago, something like that. I don't remember. You guys wouldn't know. You didn't watch it till today. Why didn't you watch the trailer until I made you watch it this morning?
Because I didn't have time.
I just didn't have like the motivation to do that.
Why do you mean? There's just
I had other things to do rather than that.
Okay. Because I'm telling you, I've been jazzed about this for since I've seen it. Jazzed. So so you guys watched it this morning. We ate breakfast, watched it. I'll start with you, BB Nate.
Yes.
What were your initial reactions to the trailer when you saw it?
I thought it was okay. It could have been better, but I don't know. For what we got, it was fine.
Really? Are you serious?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell.
I was just as confused as you.
No, I loved it. I really thought it was fantastic. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope they're not like 5 minutes long, because I know they're going to be like short anthology stories. So I hope that they're like
long enough to really see some character building and some story.
Yeah, like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
What did you think, Sam?
Yeah, I thought it's different for sure than anything we've ever gotten for Star Wars. But I think it looks really interesting, and it looks like a lot of fun. It looks confusing, but that might just be because we're not familiar with the medium. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So if you're just listening and you're not quite sure what Star Wars Visions is, it is this new anthology of animated shorts that are going to be celebrating Star Wars through the lens of some of the world's best anime creators. The top 7 studios in the world, according to Lucasfilm, or some 7 of the top studios in the world are working together to produce this. It is not canon. It's not intended to change the story of Star Wars or anything like that. Does that bother you that they're putting out non-canon stories?
Not at all.
It doesn't bother me either. I mean, let
them have their fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. So, now, Sam, none of us are really anime fans. And you kind of alluded to that a minute ago. What have been your thoughts about this series before seeing the trailer?
I mean, I was always in the mindset of I'll watch it just to see, what it is, but I was never really all that excited for it, like you. It was Star Wars, it was new Star Wars, and it, maybe it was a way to get me to be interested in anime, but I was never really all that excited in it before this trailer.
Mm-hmm. Nate, how have you been feeling about the idea of combining Star Wars and anime in the build up to this?
I feel like it's not a bad choice for any reason. I mean, anime normally can just be a certain animation style.
That's all
it's done right. Yeah. So it's not like a culture. It's not a specific set of storylines or anything like that. It's just an animation style dependent on there's certain anime styles within anime. I mean, and we see that in this. So I've always thought it was something interesting to do, and it just allows these creators to tell whatever story they want to.
I do remember seeing a while back some fan-made short that was Star Wars, and it was anime. It was some TIE Fighter short or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing that
It was
too.
like 7 minutes long. It was phenomenal. I loved it. I thought it looked great. It was an interesting take. It really allowed them to tell the story and show some visuals in ways that you wouldn't normally see. So I feel like Star Wars and anime can work together just fine.
Well, the first thing that should get you excited if you're a Star Wars fan is the voice cast for this series.
Yeah.
I don't have time to go through everybody in here, and there'd be some that the names may not be recognizable, but what they've done are. So I'm just going to give a brief run through of some of the names that actually stood out to me.
Okay.
From this, we've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yep.
Robin.
These are the English voice actors.
These are the English voice actors. So that's an important thing. They're going to be releasing it both ways. They're going to release it with the traditional Japanese and subtitles, English subtitles, and then they're going to be releasing it with the English dubs. And these are the actors doing the English dubs. So you've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who, like you said, he was in Inception. He played in the Dark Knight Rises. Robin. He played Robin. What's his last name? Blake. Robin Blake in that. We have Neil Patrick Harris.
Okay.
Best known from
what would he be?
How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother.
Doogie Howser, MD, is what I remember him from.
Series of
unfortunate events on Netflix. We have David Harbour from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
is in this. Simu Liu from Shang-Chi plays Shang-Chi. He's in this. Lucy Liu from Charlie's Angels.
Are they related?
Movies, and I don't believe so. And Elementar's like Smith in Chinese. I mean, honestly, it is. And she was in Elementary as well. George Takei from Star Trek. He played Sulu. With that. Christopher Sean from Star Wars Resistance. Congratulations, Chris. We were super excited to see you back in Star Wars animation again. And then, of course, Tamura Morrison is going to be reprising his role as Boba Fett in this.
Very cool.
So, thoughts on this voice casting?
Really good lineup.
Yeah.
There's some really good actors.
Really big names. So that's really surprising. I love it. I'm excited for it. I'm thought I heard somewhere that's originally going to be released in Japanese, but dubbed with English. So the lips might not match up, but
it's anime. Their lips just usually just open and close.
Not in these kind of ones. I'm not expecting it.
Anyway,
I don't think it's going to be a distraction at all.
No.
Now, all of that would have been enough. They're an amazing trailer, the announcement of an amazing voice cast for the English dubs. I would have probably been a lot more excited about this.
Definitely.
Have you guys heard the descriptions of the episodes?
Nope.
No.
My only exposure to this is that trailer. That's all I've got.
All right, buckle up, boys. All right, here we go. We've got descriptions for every episode.
Good Lord. All right.
Of this. Episode 1 is The Duel. The duel follows an unnamed Sith known only as Ronin, a term typically referred to as used to refer to a wandering samurai. Ronin will head toward a terrifying fight described as calling upon, in quotes, an alternate history pulled from Japanese lore. It's thought that this episode may reinterpret a previously seen but much beloved fight from Star Wars history. BB Nate, a samurai story in Star Wars only makes sense with that. Which lightsaber duel do you think that this could be giving a nod toward?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think Sammy has an idea.
No, I want to know what
yours is.
I have no clue. That's the thing.
All right, I'll let you go, Sam.
I was hoping.
Sons?
I think it's the Twin Sons fight.
Oh my gosh, I would lose my mind. I hadn't even thought about that one.
Maul's it would roaming around doing
a wandering
stuff.
samurai.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Sith. It makes sense, yeah.
I hope so. That would be cool because then it would also give the fans who are like, "Well, I wanted more of a fight," give them that that experience,
Yeah. So, Sam, talk a little bit about the history of samurai films and Star Wars, with this, because we were alluding to it as we came into the segment.
Yeah, I mean, George really relied on a lot of Kurosawa's, Akira Kurosawa's films.
Name, yes.
A big one was like Hidden Fortress, where it follows like these two medieval peasants as they escort a woman across enemy lines without realizing she's a princess entrusted with the hope of a nation.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
It's that's where 3PO and R2 with Leia
and A New Hope come from.
Right. So
with that,
lot of it's not like samurai films and Star Wars are two totally different things. They're very heavily linked.
Well, and even Dave Filoni even referred to Twin Sons in the battle between Ben Kenobi.
Yeah, it's a samurai battle.
As a samurai fight battle with that. Now, here's what is also interesting. This episode is going to be expanded upon in a novel called Star Wars Ronin that's releasing after this episode releases, October 12th, 2021.
I'm interested in reading it. I saw like an excerpt, and it looks really good.
Is it going to be a novel or a manga?
Novel.
No, it's a novel. Okay. With that.
It's a written novel.
All right, episode 2. Lop and Ocho. All right, this episode is set in that largely untouched period of Star Wars history between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope. It's going to follow Ocho, who is the daughter in kind of a space organized crime mob family, as she meets Lop, who's a rabbit hybrid alien. Well, yeah. Okay, we'll come to that in a second. This episode explores the futuristic technology that made Star Wars so famous, but also combines it with the surrealism and found family tropes of classic anime films. Sam, this you were even talking about it. This isn't the first anthropomorphic character in Star Wars history that looks like a rabbit. Explain what you were saying when you talked about Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson was he was in the comics, the original Star Wars comics run. He was kind of an homage to Bugs Bunny, but George Lucas really hated him, and he's actually been reintroduced pretty recently into the canon by Kevin Scott, actually, who
there's a rumor that that is when Jackson came out in the comics and George Lucas saw it, that is when George Lucas started requiring to have approval for any new characters that were created in Star Wars.
That's
in the
fair.
comic books with it. Nate, found family is really big both in Star Wars and
you have Rebels and Ezra and all of that. I mean, none of them are related, yet they're a family. You have Anakin and everything like that, Obi-Wan, Padme, which kind of a family, it feels like it. Mm-hmm. You, of course, Rey, Finn, Poe, or Rey, Luke, Leia with the Skywalker thing.
That's true.
It's it's a big thing in Star Wars.
Okay, what is surrealism, though?
I don't know how to describe surrealism.
Suspending
sort of like,
reality, kind of?
Maybe, yeah. A little bit like it doesn't quite, it's sort of just like trippy. Yeah, that's the right word for it. All right, I'm excited about this next one. Sam, you will be as well. Episode 3, Tatooine Rhapsody. It's going to bring back probably one of the most maligned locations in Star Wars history, the Mos Espa Circuit. But there isn't going to be a pod race to be had here. Instead, there's a rock concert.
Awesome.
And now the previous first look that came out a couple months ago, I guess, of the series described this episode as a rock opera. Like, when you hear rock opera, you should think of things like Phantom of the Opera and Wicked and Les Mis. Like,
this is going to be really
right.
Weird.
That's a rock opera.
Okay.
This episode seems to be well aware of Tatooine's significance in canon. On top of it being a musical adventure, it is going to be starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bobby Moynihan. You remember Bobby Moynihan from Star Wars Resistance and Saturday Night Live and all that. This story is going to include appearances by Jabba the Hutt and Boba Fett. How you feeling about an anime Star Wars rock opera?
The one thing I want to see is the pitch meeting for this episode. Right? We're going to make a Star Wars rock opera set on Tatooine with Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt. And they're just like, go ahead. We don't care.
Yeah, whatever you guys want to do, guys. As long as it's not canon. Right?
Right. Basically, that's their catch-all for this one.
I think it's going to be interesting. We're probably going to be sitting there and watching the whole thing speechless and then finish it and be like, what did we just watch?
I have a feeling we'll probably go, let's watch it again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Sam, Tamura Morrison playing Boba Fett.
Yeah.
How you feeling about this? You excited about this episode?
I still have my reservations. This is very, very different.
Tamura Morrison plays Moana's father in the Disney film Moana. Yeah, so maybe he's going to do some singing.
And Aquaman's father.
Does Moana's dad sing?
I don't know. It is in Moana, so everybody else
I've only
sings.
seen the movie once.
Rock sings. So
all right, fair enough.
all right, let's go to the next one. Episode 4, The Twins.
Seeing Boba Fett sing is that's gonna ruin everything. I guess Mando's my favorite now. He hasn't sung yet.
So we've got Hiroyuki Imashi. He's the co-founder of Studio Trigger. That's the one putting this one together. It's a pretty big anime studio. He said in a press conference in July that his animation studio's 2 episodes, The Twins, which we're talking about now, and then The Elder, are actually going to bookend the existing Star Wars canon. So The Twins is going to provide an epilogue to the Skywalker saga, showing what happened after Rey defeats Palpatine for, I don't know, hopefully the last time. With that, The Twins is set again after Episode 9, after the Empire has been defeated by the Resistance.
Interesting.
And Amashi says that the remnants of the Imperial Army have raised a pair of twins on the dark side of the Force, and then the story goes from there. So, Sam, any chance that this kind of a story could grow into more traditional Star Wars content post Episode 9?
Well, is this the first stuff we've gotten that kind of explores that timeline
Absolutely.
after 9?
Nothing else has been
Interesting. So this could very well be canon, because we've got nothing to contradict it at this point.
Or they could build canon off of it or whatever.
I like that. I like this idea. I think it's got an interesting concept. It feels familiar yet different enough to work. You know, it's not they're bringing back Palpatine or they're building a new Death Star. It's these pair of twins, you know. I like the concept, and I'm curious to see where it goes.
A dyad in the Force, maybe?
Right, but they raised it, and they're going to try and control it for their own good. I like that.
Maybe, Nate, is there anyone in the Empire around after the Battle of Exegol who can actually train Darksiders?
Oh, I'm sure that there was a few people spread out across the galaxy that knew of Palpatine. I mean, we know that Richard E. Grant's character, forget his name, knew about Palpatine way before anybody else did.
Legion General Pride.
Yeah, there we are.
It's true. Is Asajj dead?
I don't think we know for sure.
What about Dark Disciple?
No, I think she does die in Dark Disciple.
Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see this, and I'm really excited for it. And 2-parter, which is really cool.
Well, it's not a 2-parter. That's the episode that goes at the end. Now, the next one, episode 5, is The Elder. That's the other one that's being made by the same studio, by Studio Trigger. Mm-hmm. And it is a prologue. So it's showing the events before the Phantom Menace. And with the co-founder of Studio Trigger, I'm going to do my best here, Masahiko Atsuka,
That's nice.
That was pretty good. It sounded right. It was his last project before he retired, and which I think is pretty awesome. That the last
you
work
get
that
to go out on Star Wars
legend in the anime world did was a Star Wars anime project. Cool. It follows a Jedi and a Padawan as they encounter a mysterious foe, which is the kind of one-off story that Star Wars loves.
Love it.
With that, Nate, let's flip the question that I just asked Sam. Any chance that this story could build into some larger traditional Star Wars content pre-Phantom Menace?
Maybe it might tie in a little bit with High Republic if they really want to do that. If they want to, this whole series is basically like, if we want to, we can make these canon. If we can fit it in there, and
or we could create a canon story that's in the universe that's based off the same concept.
Because they're making the novel off of Ronin, which is interesting as well. They're already considering going to different forms of media, so it's really awesome, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see these 2 episodes, and I think it's going to be really cool.
Me too. Sam, how would you feel about the Elder connecting to the Acolyte, since that takes place in basically the same time frame?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I would love to see little references between the two. Just like a little blurb here and there that like is something that you only know from the other. I think that'd be a really neat touch. And that would just kind of help cement that, yeah, these stories are not only set in the Star Wars universe, but they could almost be connected to the larger
kind
story.
of like Legends ideas.
Yeah.
Sort of like we've talked about it before, the Legends of Luke Skywalker novel.
Right.
Where obviously it was not canon. These aren't actual things that happened in the Star Wars universe, but they're legends about Luke.
They're
that grew
legends,
up around
and they may or may not be canon. But like, I think I heard somewhere that those main plot lines, not the details, but the main plot lines are canon to Luke's story. So yeah.
All right. Episode 6, The Village Bride. The story follows a fallen Jedi who observes a local wedding tradition in a distant village through the perspective of a bride on the eve of her wedding day and an unexpected choice that she makes to save her people. Other than a secret ceremony on Naboo, Sam, at the end of Attack of the Clones, we haven't seen a Star Wars wedding. Explain.
Yeah, this is weird. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that's going to work out. I think that'll be interesting. It just doesn't give us much to go off of. It's just a bride having to do something before her wedding day. This could very well be a rom-com at this point. But I'm curious. Yeah, we haven't seen many weddings at all.
Nate, what's your favorite ceremony in the history of Star Wars and canon? Like ceremony moment. Because, I mean, we only had one wedding and it was in secret.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of ceremonies we had.
We had the ceremony at the end of episode 1. On Naboo.
All the funeral pyres.
We had the end of episode New Hope.
Probably the end of episode 6, the funeral pyre there. Okay.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
That is a good scene.
All right, episode 7, Akakira. That's how I'm going to pronounce it.
I think it's Kiri.
Akakiri? Okay.
Yeah. Akakiri.
Another Anakin and Padme parallel potentially is found in Akakiri. It's described as an ephemeral love story between a Jedi and a princess.
What's ephemeral?
I don't know. Look it up. It's unclear when this episode will be set. There's some suggestion it could fix the most frustrating part of the Jedi lifestyle, the disavowal of commitment. With that, Nate, could this love story have an end so tragic that it changes the way Jedi think about love and marriage?
I think so. I mean, it would be pretty cool. I'm excited to see these kind of different tales. Not all of these are like high action ones. They're just stories. Which
but anime does that.
Exactly. It's not just actions.
I know. It's going to be exciting. I mean, I'm enjoying everything, learning about all of these. I don't know if it'll end tragically, but probably will because
it's Star Wars. Love stories in Star Wars generally don't go so well. All right. Sam, how do you think fans are going to handle stories that seem so closely paralleled to canon events?
Star Wars fans are always going to be Star Wars fans. So there's going to be backlash. But I think for the most part, it's just a way for fans to kind of understand what's happening in the story while still being able to process all the new stuff that's being thrown at them too. So I think it's just a good storytelling method.
Awesome. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
Episode 8, T0B1, or is it 2B1?
I think it's 2B.
It's 2B1. It's a coming of age story of a droid who dreams of becoming a Jedi. 2B1 is clearly a nod to the art style of the classic anime series Astro Boy.
Oh my gosh,
which, that was a film, but it also goes back into the 50s as an anime.
Wow. Yeah, I watched that series too, part of it.
Yeah.
That was my thing a little while ago.
Sam Howard Fanboy is going to be able to deal with a non-canon story about a droid potentially using the Force.
Oh man, I'm going to hear it. There are going to be people being like, "What the heck is this garbage?" And then it's going to be very split. You're going to have people who are saying this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and then there are going to be people like us who are like, "That is awesome. I love it. We need more of this. So
more Jedi droids.
More Force user droids, please."
Nate, you're our resident droid super fan. Are you excited about this?
Oh, of course. This sounds freaking awesome. I love it. It's like he's wishing to be a Jedi.
It's like Pinocchio in Star Wars.
That is exactly
which is a lot like what
it
Astro
is.
Boy is too. He wants to be a real boy or whatever.
I love it.
I'm a real boy.
Sorry.
Wow. That was great. But I'm super excited for it. Aren't they having like another droid series too?
Yeah, they are. It hasn't been out for, I don't know.
Maybe he'll have an appearance.
He will.
That would be cool.
He'll have an episode.
All right, the last episode is episode 9, The Ninth Jedi. It was originally intended to be a 2-part episode, but the 2 stories were merged into one. So it's likely it's going to be a little bit longer than some of the others. It's also set after the rise of Skywalker.
Interesting.
It's designed to be sort of an epilogue exploring the future of the Jedi Knights after the fall of the New Order. And it's described as a galactic level adventure.
Ooh.
Nate, is this possible that we see Rey training Finn in this story?
That'd be pretty cool. I would think that would be really awesome because they haven't said that we can't see characters that we've already seen. It's not about new characters.
We're seeing Boba Fett.
Exactly.
We're seeing Jabba the Hutt. Jabba Hutt.
Yeah, we're seeing them, but I would be really excited to see that. That would be so cool.
Sam, is there any way this doesn't have lots of tie-ins to the film The Seventh Samurai?
I mean, there's a lot of parallels there. Unfortunately, I'm not super familiar with the storyline of Seven Samurai, but certainly probably going to be a lot of tie-ins with classic samurai films. Excuse me.
Real quick, takeaways. Start with you, Sam. Which one of these episodes are you most excited about?
I don't know. They all sound kind of fun. That last one sounds really interesting. I like how they're using it to kind of explore past episode 9. But the Ronin one sounds really interesting too. So yeah.
BB Nate.
Yeah, definitely the duel or the droid one, 2B1. Yeah.
Awesome.
What about you? I just want the one with the lightsaber umbrella.
I think
wherever that one is.
I have a feeling
that makes the Inquisitor's lightsaber helicopter look tame in comparison.
I'm excited about the 2 being made by Studio Trigger, episodes 4 and 5, the twins and the Elder, the one that's post Return of the Rise of Skywalker, and the one that's pre Phantom Menace. I'm curious to see how those tie. I'm excited about all of them, though.
Yeah.
With it, these anime shorts are going to look very radically different from each other. If you've watched that trailer,
yes, they're all different. There's even some like 3D style.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. But the differences are going to fade into the background into what it still feels like when you watch these little clips that they all feel very Star Wars. With that, I have a feeling we're going to be spending a whole lot of time getting into Star Wars anime in just a few weeks.
Yes,
so that'll be exciting, Sam.
Yeah. So episode 2 of What If was Out of This World. We saw Star-Lord's #1 fan. The Mad Titan might not be so mad after all, and our favorite fine-feathered fowl is back.
And that's coming up after these ads specifically chosen by Howard the Duck. This is Tatooine Sons.
So, hey, guys, it's review time. But again, we didn't get any reviews. We need reviews. We need you to give us affirmation because we require that with our podcast.
No, we don't require it. We really,
but we really do appreciate it.
We do appreciate it.
But the most important reason is that when you leave a review on podchaser.com/Tatooine Sons.
That's it. Exactly.
That was a good plug.
Yeah. You can, if for a show or episodes, if you leave a review, we will give a small donation in your honor to one child. So you can help some kids in extreme poverty and leave a review for your favorite podcast as well.
Be on your guard. There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
You're coming to is as the footsteps of doom.
There are many magic rings in this world, Bilbo Baggins, and none of them should be used lightly.
Now, here's an interesting tie into that episode. Did you guys hear that Scarlett Johansson had a baby this last week? Or they announced what the baby's name was this week?
Cosmo.
They named it Cosmo.
They named the baby Cosmo?
I don't get it.
Okay, is it?
That's a little weird.
Fine. But hey, Cosmo's best.
She's really taking the Russian thing to a whole new level.
Cosmo,
Cosmo.
not.
Yeah.
So Marvel's What If Episode 2 followed the story of
what if T'Challa became a Star-Lord?
Yeah,
That's
what
the
if
name of the
T'Challa
episode.
became Star-Lord? Yondu, it's really more Yondu's what if. It's like, what if Yondu's crew picked up T'Challa instead of Peter Quill?
What if Yondu was lazy? That's really what
he's
it
like,
was.
I'll just keep the kid. I don't feel like returning him at that point. But then it followed, last week I talked about how I was like, we'll just go through and talk about the differences between the film that it was based off of and the What If episode, like we did for Peter or Captain Carter.
Right.
That didn't happen this episode. It went off on its own complete story, which is good. I liked how this
very different than the first.
Yeah, that
episode.
one change literally changed everything in the MCU. And there's so many little differences. Well, I think like the first thing is like there was that classic scene where he's on Morag, right? And he's going to get the Infinity Stone, and he's captured, or he's, stopped by the guy's name is Korath.
Right.
And there's that scene where Star-Lord he takes off the helmet and he's like, I'm Star-Lord. And in the version we're used to, it was, the guy goes, who?
Yeah.
What were y'all's reactions when Korath was like, oh my gosh, Star-Lord?
It doesn't seem like it fits the character at all, but I loved it because it was just so different, and I don't even know if I still understand why T'Challa was so much better and more recognized as Star-Lord.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was really cool.
The reason why T'Challa is so much better than Peter is his just unwavering moral compass. T'Challa's always got a sense of right and wrong and never backs down. And so what that allowed him to do is he was able to turn the Ravagers for a source of good, basically. And he's been going around at this point.
Which is similar to what Peter tries to do with the Guardians. And later on. I mean,
he's still a little, he's like, yes, we're there to help them and hopefully get a little money along the way. Right. But, T'Challa, he's all for good in this case, which is why he's such a good king of Wakanda. Mm-hmm. But he's basically become a sort of like intergalactic Robin Hood, him and the Ravagers. And so Korath became this like huge, like number one fan and like asks to punch him. Like he's like, let me fight you, please, And what's cool is instead of T'Challa being like a jerk about it, he invites him to be a part of the Ravagers, because he's just such a good person.
Well, he actually takes him off the planet when he's knocked out after T'Challa beats him up.
Right. Yeah. He's helpful. And since, another big change of T'Challa becoming Star-Lord is the Ravagers have done a lot of good, and he was stealing this stone not for profit, but to restart a dying system's star. Mm-hmm. He could have made a big buck off of this, but instead he used it for good.
Right.
And we learned that he actually saved Drax's planet from a Kree invasion, thus saving Drax's family. Thus, Drax doesn't go nuts. So he's just a bartender at this point, and that was weird. He's getting a selfie with him, which I think he's like the only character that wasn't voiced by the original in this episode. They didn't get Dave.
Let's stop and talk about that because we did get to hear Chadwick Boseman's last acting performance.
That kind of made everything feel a little bit bittersweet, knowing that it was last. But he was good. He did the transition from live action to voiceover really well. What did y'all think about his take on the character too? Because it was noticeably T'Challa, but also still very Star-Lord.
It was a little. Honestly, it felt a little like uncomfortable. I couldn't quite figure out what I was watching and where we were going with him.
I couldn't tell if I was watching Black Panther or Star-Lord because it was a mix of both.
Right.
I mean, even they still later on mentioned Wakandan stuff. So
that's true.
It was weird, but I enjoyed it.
It's just really probably cool. Because we're so used to the two characters being so separate, and then we see them combined. And we also learned that I think this is the scene that you were talking about, Dad. I think it's the scene that left all of us speechless. Is we learned that just through sitting down and having a conversation with him, T'Challa was able to basically turn Thanos good. What were your guys' thoughts when you saw Thanos walk up and just sit down and start like having drinks with him?
I had no clue what to think. I was so confused. I didn't think he even had that ideology before they started mentioning it, because I'm like, he couldn't have gone good from being that bad. And so no, he everybody makes fun of him now. His plan is great. I love it. And
they do. They tease him constantly throughout this episode about like being a genocidal.
He's like, I'm pretty sure that's still genocide. He's like, no, it's efficient.
It's efficient.
All right?
Yeah. I got up at that. It's pretty early on in the episode, honestly.
Yeah, it's
and
really
so I
early.
get up and I go into the. We've got an open kitchen and family area. So I got up and went into the kitchen to grab a drink or something out of the pantry. I don't remember what it was, and I had my back turned for just a second when Thanos shows up.
Yeah, you hear Josh Brolin.
Well, yeah, and so I hear Thanos, and I'm like, what am I hearing? And I turn around, and I literally had just kind of stood there for like a minute while this it was playing out, trying to figure out what in the world I was looking at. It was so bizarre, and it never felt right.
No.
Anytime I saw Thanos the rest of this entire episode, I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. Turn bad. Do something wrong.
I know.
Here.
I like every time I saw him show up on screen, I got like a sense of anxiety. I was like, oh crap, stuff's about to go down. And then he's helping. It was
I wonder what it's like for Josh Brolin to voice that character as a good guy.
Well, the character really wasn't very much different. I mean, I guess when you think about Thanos from Endgame, he was messed up and mentally ill, but he still did want to do good, just in his twisted way. I don't think
he was mentally ill. I think he was absolutely diabolically evil. Is what he was.
Mad. But he still wanted to do good, just in his own twisted way. And then T'Challa showed up and was like, okay, hold on. I like where your heart's at. Let's put your head in the right place. And showed him a better way to go about it. So it's still the same Thanos. He just, had some sense talked into him, basically.
Right. Nebula had hair. Can we?
Yeah, Nebula, since Thanos wasn't so messed up.
He wasn't like torturing her by taking off portions of her body.
I mean, he already did, but.
Right, but most of her was still organic. What were y'all thoughts on seeing this version?
I didn't think
Nebula?
Blonde hair would be the choice. It doesn't really fit.
From the comics, her look was very comic accurate in this
really?
show. Yes.
But hey, it was cool. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I just kept wondering where Gamora was.
Yeah, where is Gamora?
Yeah,
well, we're going to probably get that in a later
that's
episode.
something we're going to have to get explained later, but
Didn't Gamora turn into Thanos? Didn't we see that in the poster?
It might be.
Maybe. But, and then we learn about this plan to steal something that can like terraform planets and all that stuff. And so, they're coming up with this fancy plan, and Korath's sitting there like, classic Star-Lord, I love it, nerding out. Basically, like if we were sitting in the room with Dave Filoni.
It'd be like how you'd react the entire time.
Like, oh my God, that's so Dave Filoni.
You're so smart, man. I'm so excited to see. Oh, that was brilliant. How did you come up with that idea?
Exactly. That would be us. And so they go, we learn that the Collector is basically this version's Thanos, or this story's Thanos, because he stepped in to take the power vacuum or whatever.
He got super buff.
Yeah, it was weird to see a buff Collector.
But actually, I don't think Benenzi...
No, he did.
He did. It sounded way different,
so
though.
different.
Yeah, I thought it was somebody else entirely.
I miss the crazy Collector. I don't like buff, confident Collector.
Right? Yeah, that was a bit of a change. So then, they get there or whatever, and the Black Order is working for the Collector and not Thanos.
Yeah.
That was a little strange to see. We got Squidward, Horn Lady,
Squirrel Dude. No, different. I'm thinking of something else.
Anyway, they're working for the Collector. Like, Horn Chick is basically like his like secretary.
Yeah.
His like front desk manager.
So she was super excited when there was a disturbance. She's like,
yeah,
I get to do something.
Finally, some action.
And, since that there's no competition, the Collector has a much larger collection now. We saw all sorts of things. We saw T'Challa walking through. There was the Collector's brother's ship from Ragnarok was in there, and a dark elf and things like that. And then it was funny. We see T'Challa run across Howard the Duck, which he made an appearance in both of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. But
And Endgame.
And Endgame. And then in this one, he had a bit of a bigger role. What were y'all?
A huge role.
What were y'all's thoughts on seeing Howard the Duck? And
I was, right as I saw him, I'm like, let him out of the cage. Come on, we gotta have a lot of Howard Duck. And then he lets him out, and I'm like, oh yes, we get a lot of Howard the Duck.
Well, you can't have the story without Howard the Duck.
No.
I mean, he's a major character in this.
Yeah.
He plays out everything, hinges on what he does being let out. So,
do you think we're getting more of this character?
Oh, there's a big push to try to make Howard the Duck like a character in the MCU that they bring out and do more stuff
I
with.
hope. He was fun, and this is the most we've gotten of his character. In
And
the
then,
MCU.
some of the actors that were in the original Howard the Duck film are actually social media campaigning to try to get the film redone.
Oh, come on.
With it. So.
Deadpool and Howard the Duck. We gotta
With
see
Spider-Man.
that. With Spider-Man.
That would be a trio.
And Thor. Just all of those characters.
I hope we get more of them. And then, T'Challa learns that his homeworld wasn't actually destroyed. He's been told by Yondu that his world was destroyed, but it wasn't. And Wakanda really quickly made a really advanced space program. Which, they're working with.
I'm not too worried about that. I think that they've had that technology.
No, the dad didn't have to worry about raising a son, so he could focus more on space technology.
Program. So they sent out all these searches to try and find T'Challa. And then, that kind of breaks T'Challa's heart. And then Nebula walks in and is like, oh, sorry, gotta turn you in. I had a debt to pay. Did y'all think this is part of the plan?
Nope. I thought Nebula was bad.
It could work too. You can't think that things are going to happen in these type of episodes because you had Thanos as a good guy.
Okay, good point.
Everything is wrong at this point. So yeah, I didn't think that. I thought that Nebula was a bad guy.
Yeah, and then we learned that it was part of his triple cross plan, and Korath was nerding out about that again. And then Yondu and T'Challa have this big old battle with the Collector, which was all cool, but y'all saw on his little box that there was Cap's shield and Mjolnir, and he used Hala's headpiece. How do you think he came into possession of it? Do
we get that story?
Do you think we get that story?
I'm asking, do we get that story somewhere?
I have a theory about Cap's shield.
Okay, go for it. Quickly.
I think when Cap was bouncing back through time to return the stones, at one point he came across this timeline or something. His shield got taken away or he left it. And, Kim went going about his business returning the stones, and he got a shield from another universe, and that's what he gives to Steve or something. So I think that's kind of how he came across it. But Mjolnir, is he worthy to have that?
No.
Or did he have Thor put it in the case? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. He probably has
question.
like a gauntlet or something built by those people that made, what is it? Thanos' gauntlet. To give him like a gauntlet that allows him to wield Mjolnir or something.
Well, wait, didn't Steve take that back in time with him?
Yes.
Mjolnir?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, I thought he had it with him there.
I don't think so.
Anyway, so that big fight ensues, and that was really cool. And then they go back. T'Challa reunites with his dad, and Thanos is sitting there trying to convince the Wakandans that his plan's good, and they're still like, "Bro, you're crazy.
You're mad."
And then at the same time, Ego finds Peter mopping the floor of a Dairy Queen.
At the Dairy Queen. That was in Guardians too.
Yes. And he's like, you want to meet up, which, spells disaster for this world, because now you got two.
Yeah, and the Watcher even alludes to that.
Yeah, you got two Celestials working together. Peter doesn't know anything about this. He doesn't know right from wrong in this case, and so the world is screwed in this case. But here's a good question that actually Savannah helped me come up with.
Thanks,
what's
Savannah.
one thing you would have liked to have seen changed in this? So, a lot changed because T'Challa was Star-Lord. So what's one thing you would have liked to seen in this episode?
I don't know. I would have loved to have the Ravagers to go back to Ego because they knew that he was a thing. Yondu knew he was bad. So at some point, gather resources, gather people, and then go back to Ego and destroy it. They had the resources, they had the people to be able to destroy it. Would be a breeze in this case. So that would have removed the whole ending, which I would have been okay with because I don't like seeing Star-Lord as a bad guy.
I probably would have just liked to have seen Gamora in here as part of that. Find out what's going on with her.
Groot,
Rocket Groot. Some of those guys.
We don't get any of those characters. It's true. Both What If stories so far have been quote unquote better than their MCU counterparts. Like the storyline's been overall like more I don't know, better world. Peggy was a better Cap than Steve was.
Okay.
T'Challa and the Ravagers did infinitely more good than Peter and the Ravagers
That's
did.
interesting.
So, do you think, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think this is a good thing, a bad thing?
No, I think they alluded to the fact that at the end with Ego and with Peter, that things are going to go
everything
horribly
good,
worse.
Every
in that
good
one.
thing has a bad thing in return. So
yeah, absolutely.
So things in the MCU happen the way they were supposed to for a reason.
Which is the whole
point
plot to the end
Loki.
of Loki. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, episode 2 took a bit of a different approach than episode 1, but I think it was a welcome change. Yeah. So far, the series is only getting better, and we know from the trailers that there's a lot more to come. Be sure to tune in every Wednesday to see what happens. Nate, what are you talking about this week?
Well, this week we are talking about Free Guy because we saw it. It was really good. Movies we may or may not see this weekend. All of the other movies coming out this weekend, and a really cool trailer we got this week. So let's just get to it.
Yeah, that's coming up after these ads specifically chosen, so you don't have a good day, but so you'll have a great day.
Nice.
This is Tatooine Sons. All right, we're going to keep this really short and sweet. You can help children in poverty by giving us reviews, and we'll make a donation in your honor. You can help children in poverty by buying some of our swag on tpublic.com. But you can do even more by sponsoring a child. It's $1.30 a day. Like if you bought a Starbucks at all this week, you're halfway there. Not really, but almost halfway there to get to sponsoring a child. So consider it. Go into the show notes, click on the One Child link, learn a little bit more about that. Select a child, begin to help provide food, medicine, education, social development, and hope to a child that desperately needs it, and build a relationship with them. Write them letters, get to know them. It's going to be fantastic. Please check it out.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, I can fly.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
The people in this room, which one is A, wearing a spangly outfit, and B, not of use?
There's only one God, man, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
That man has no limits.
Yeah, so obviously Green Lantern is the best Taika Waititi, Ryan Reynolds movie ever.
Oh, of course. It's the best DC movie ever. Like
Better than The Dark Knight?
Oh,
better than Justice League?
Oh my gosh, yes. The extended edition that adds 2 minutes is so much better than anything else you've ever seen.
Yeah, there's a lot of sarcasm coming out of that right there.
There is.
All right.
So we're going to first talk about Free Guy. So what are y'all's initial thoughts on Free Guy after getting out of it, and what did y'all think about it?
I thought it was a really, really fun film. We've been wanting to see this ever since before COVID happened.
When it was first trailer came out.
And we were interested from the first trailer, but what we got was so much fun and just a good way to get back to theaters, I think.
Yeah.
Fun movie.
I thought it was you kind of know what you're getting with it.
Yeah,
you're going to get Ryan Reynolds humor. You're going to get lots of nods to the gaming world,
which I appreciated.
Exactly. Which, Grammy came with us. She's 80 years old. That didn't really connect with her, with it. But in the end, it was a fun story. It was a better story, than I anticipated.
Yeah. I thought it was
just going to be a lot of sight gags and kind of playing with him being a character in a game.
But it had like a real plot,
right?
So there was a lot of fun stuff after Disney bought Fox. The ending completely changed, including the amazing cameos of everything, and we're gonna reach into spoiler territory at this point.
Everything we do in the show is spoilers.
So we're going to be reading a couple things of what the endings were going to be like before Disney actually bought Fox.
Let's go.
So the first thing is, of course, with the Captain America shield, the Hulk arm, the lightsaber, the music, everything.
Which, You got to be in a theater.
Oh my gosh, it was so cool. But it was going to have Guy pulling out a ton of weapons from his arsenal, including a gun from Deadpool 2 that Cable had. And a portal gun from Portal. But then Fox got bought by Disney, and they decided to change it to more recognizable items like Cap Shield and a lightsaber. And also because Guy was kind of trying to get rid of guns from Free City. So
there's a lot of gun stuff in this,
then it wouldn't really have worked. So, and also the ending with Millie and Guy was way different in the original script.
Like where she's in Free City?
So this is the writer. It's, yes, it actually did change. In the original script, he ends up with Millie. They maintain their relationship into whatever the sequel will be. But Ryan and Sean, the director, felt that it needed to have that ghost moment, the Patrick Swayze ghost. Nobody could really rationalize a person having an extended stay as bits and bytes. We thought, what's the ghost moment? It was definitely tweaked from the first iteration of the movie. How does Guy end up after saying goodbye to Millie? How do you want to leave Guy? We know that audiences would just want to know that he's going to be okay and that he's happy, and I think that they nailed that.
Yeah.
So it was going to end up with Millie and Guy like having a relationship, but they didn't feel like it would work.
I was worried they were going to go there, and I really liked the way they ended it. I feel like it wasn't nearly as creepy.
No, they set it up too throughout the movie because the other developer, the guy that's in Stranger Things, I don't remember his character's name.
Steve.
Well, he's Steve in Stranger Things.
Right.
I don't remember what he is in this one. Keys. He created Guy to be kind of his avatar in the game, you know, when it comes to loving her and developing, and he becomes AI as a result of that.
Yeah, it was really
because
cool.
of his love for this girl. So
I think it had a really good emotional ending with that.
It was good.
A good closeout.
Yeah, and to wrap up this segment, a sequel has already been confirmed, and Ryan Reynolds made a joke about that because they're like, after 3 years of messaging it as an original IP, Disney's already confirmed a sequel. So
all right, yeah,
woohoo!
Which they kind of made fun of throughout the entire movie about these like sequel
everybody
things.
wants sequels, runoffs, anthologies, DLCs.
Yeah. But I personally really enjoyed Free Guy. We're going to see it again tomorrow. So
not you guys.
I'm not minding that.
Yeah. But other movies that are coming out that we might see this weekend is the first one is Reminiscence. The plot or log line is Nick Bannister, a private investigator of the mind, navigates the alluring world of the past when his life is changed by a new client, May. A simple case becomes an obsession after she disappears, and he fights to learn the truth about her. So the really interesting thing going on is the reviews are all over the place between critics and audience. It's very interesting. With critics on Rotten Tomatoes hasn't released an audience score yet, but IMDb has, so I'm using IMDb. But the critics' reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are at a whopping 37% right now.
That's bad. That is like certified not good.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. A couple of the reviews is, although Reminiscence doesn't try to hide any inherent metaphors, it doesn't do much with the material besides fashion something like a dull-edged Blade Runner from Rolling Stone. And the other one is another puzzle box mystery whose intelligence is simultaneously broadcast by and limited by its crisscrossing flashbacks and speeches, none of which are as smart as they are busy from the rap.
Those are
some scathing, just bad reviews. They don't enjoy the movie.
All right, but when it comes to the fans or the audiences are different.
Yeah, so it's been bouncing back from these 2 points. I'm just going to go through the middle of it. But audience reviews right now are at a 7 on IMDb, which
7
is
out of
good.
10. Not like that's like a 70% on Rotten
Yeah, it's
Tomatoes.
a 70%. It's good for audience on IMDb. That's a good average movie. And a couple of the reviews are, this is the first one. I don't usually review movies, but here I am having just created an account on IMDb to review this masterpiece. This movie has lots of Inception vibes and impressions, but with its own unique and different style that clearly differentiates it. The plot is refreshing and kind of new. The pacing is well formed. Cinematography is excellent and acting is phenomenal, especially that of Hugh Jackman. Reminiscence is significantly driven by nostalgia. The main context is manifested by emotions, sentiment, and eagerness towards the past as well as memories. If you're into the that type of movie, and if you're highly emotional or have just lost a beloved one, then you'll really like it, and it'll influence you. In my view, this movie is one of a kind, and I really liked it.
Wow, that's like a really strong review.
It is. And another one, I was really surprised by Reminiscence, a thought-provoking concept in a neo-noir done right and even better with some very smart twists and turns that remind me of the first time I watched Inception.
Yeah, so when we watched the trailer, we were like, oh, it's just another Inception. It's just another Inception movie. But people are comparing it to that and saying it's a fresh take as well.
I've heard a lot of people compare it to a love child between Inception and Minority Report.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, I do get Minority Reports from
So,
okay.
Okay, what do you guys think about this? The critics and the audience are on different ends of the spectrum right now. Would y'all have any interest in seeing this, or
I kind of want to see it just to see like if the reviews are warranted in both sides.
We love Inception. Inception is a movie that we've been big fans of since we've first seen
Minority Report as well.
Minority Report is a great movie. Hugh Jackman is a great actor.
Yeah, there's some other pretty decent actors in there too.
I tend to dismiss critics' reviews until I've actually seen a movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
We've liked movies that have bad critic reviews. I think our go-to example is Pixels. We really enjoy that movie. I mean, it's an Adam Sandler comedy, so you know what you're getting with that. But we really enjoyed it.
It's like 20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Critics.
So critic reviews can be informative, but you've also got to be willing to just make your own judgment.
So we're moving on to The Prodigy.
Okay.
Which, first of all, we're just going to get this.
I think is it Prodigy or Protege?
It's Prodigy. Or it's Protege.
Protege, okay.
Protege.
Sorry. Just going to get this out of the way. This one is probably not likely for us watching it because the reviews for
I think that from what you were indicating
and everything has started to come out, and the violence and everything is just a little much. And also, apparently, children are shot in this movie, and it's seen, and that's just not right.
So that's usually kind of the way that we look at movies. We want to understand what's the violence like, because violence is going to be a part of any action related movie with it. Is it over the top? That's one of the reasons I struggled a little bit with Suicide Squad with it.
And it is over the top in this movie beside the whole kid.
The things that you described to me earlier, I would say that as a dad, I would probably just go ahead and say, no, we're not going to this movie. But it's an interesting thought. I want to kind of get some more feedback from you as to what it's about.
So this is also comparing really interestingly to Reminiscence right now. So the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is at a whopping 63%.
Okay, so it's much better.
It's fresh.
Okay.
It is fresh. It is considered fresh. One of the reviews is ultimately Campbell's film fails because it can't decide whether to be cheeky escapism or thoughtful character study, instead landing in between something repetitive and too often a little dull. Again, from the rap. But some of Q's action sequences, she did most of her own, Maggie Q, the main lead, she did most of her own stunts despite a recent spine surgery.
Whoa.
Are a genuine thrill, but they lose their power as the movie gets bogged down in a murky plot. So pretty average. It's a lot better than what Reminiscence was getting.
If you want a fun action film, to turn your brain off.
What's funny is the female lead in Protege and the female lead in Reminiscence both played female co-stars in Mission Impossible movies.
This is true. Yes.
So
Maggie
Q was in Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah.
So,
but the IMDb audience score
is
at around a 6.5, lower than Reminiscence on IMDb for audience.
But it's in line with the critic score.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. The reviews are, while The Protege is a somewhat forgettable, typical action thriller movie, its two leads do a great job. Maggie and Michael are both very charismatic in the movie and do not phone in their performances. Samuel L. Jackson is also good, but his performance is a little more phoned in than our other leads. The action is very good, with realistic hand-to-hand combat, decent gunplay. While it's not the best action in a movie, it's definitely choreographed well and shot competently. I would mainly recommend this movie for Maggie and Michael's performances alone, along with the action scenes. However, if you're not interested in that, you can probably skip this movie and not miss anything.
What's phoned in mean in this case?
Kind of just
kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another one, the action choreography is certainly impressive, and the first act is filled with intrigue and compelling character introductions, but the story is so convoluted and its twists and reveals so underwhelming, and its characters' motivations so weak / unclear That becomes very tiresome. Additionally, this features one of the dumbest endings I've seen in a film for quite some time.
Ooh.
Wow.
So what's its rating, like, PG-13?
R.
It's
R. Hard.
Yeah,
R.
and that's the way we look at R. We have to go in and we dig into R's real quick to see how violent they're going to get. Is there going to be sex? Is there going to be nudity?
And there is
it just a bunch of?
Well.
Is there just a bunch of language and then maybe some violence? We kind of pushed the limit with Suicide Squad. We pushed the limit a little bit with Nobody a few months ago, but ours we tend to stay away from unless we've researched them in depth. Based on everything that you said about this movie so far, you wouldn't want to go see that. No. I don't want to see a bunch of kids getting shot.
Yeah,
and some of the other stuff that's in there.
Yeah, it's bad. But let's talk about the other movies coming out this weekend.
Real quick.
We won't watch. The Night House. A widow begins to uncover her recently deceased husband's disturbing secrets. It's like an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. It's super high.
Actually pretty high.
Paw Patrol the movie. Ryder and the pups are called to Adventure City.
We're not going to go see that.
To stop Mayor Humdinger from turning the bustling metropolis.
That's what you got to watch after the Protege to like cleanse your mind.
Cleanse your mind. But really quick, let's talk about the big trailers this week. We have one really big one. Actually, only one trailer came out this week. Eternals.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Initial thoughts, really quick.
Sam.
Okay, I can see the Jack Kirby influences on the characters. It gave me, and this isn't a bad thing.
No,
it gave me very, very DC feels, especially with I forget the main character's name.
We'll touch on that in a little bit. Yeah.
So
Dad, what did you think?
I loved the Eternals trailer. I'm more excited about the Eternals than I am anything else coming out in Marvel.
Really?
More than like Spider-Man or something?
More than Spider-Man. More than any of this stuff. Doctor Strange.
Wait,
hey, you are just wrong.
Which comes first, Eternals or Spider-Man?
Eternals.
Okay. We still need a
trailer. This is apparently the final trailer. We won't get a main trailer again before the movie comes out. We got to see a Celestial from Jack Kirby.
That looked awesome.
This is directly from Marvel.com. This is going to put down anything because at the end of the trailer it just said November 5th, not in theaters, not on Disney Plus, and all this stuff. So everybody's like, it's going to theaters and Disney Plus because the whole COVID and everything.
Because of the Delta variant.
Yeah, because of the Delta variant and everything. But this is from Marvel.com with the most recent trailer. This is the third film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 4, and it arrives in theaters on November 5th. So it's still going to come out in theaters on November 5th. It's fine. Nothing to worry about. And my favorite character, at least from the trailer, is probably Icarus. Icarus. How about y'all? Do you have any favorites yet? At least from the trailer. But that Icarus looked really cool.
There's the dude that's the black guy that's I don't know what his character's name is.
Is it Gilgamesh?
Was that Gilgamesh? I think that is Gilgamesh, which is actually ironic that I like that guy so much. But he's kind of like he's funny. He's the one that the table gets destroyed at the end and stuff, and he's cracking jokes about the snarky, sarcastic, negative one earlier on in the thing. I just think he's going to be the comic relief, and I'm excited about that. So
I did really like Icarus. That's like such a superhero character, which we haven't really gotten that in MCU. I mean, kind of Captain Marvel to an extent, but I mean, this Icarus character just feels superhero.
And in the movie, in the trailer, people even compared this. He has a shot that's like practically out of Man of Steel.
It really is.
And I'm like, it's just Superman.
The black guy is not Icarus.
It's not Gilgamesh, you mean?
Or not Gilgamesh, excuse me. I couldn't.
That's fine. We'll figure out who it is.
Yeah. So that's practically my segment this week.
I like it.
Yeah, it was
Thank
a lot
you.
of fun.
It was nice. Yeah.
So there's a chance we could see Reminiscence. I think I would like to see that.
Yeah. I'm open
depending
to it,
on
sure.
The Parents Guide and everything when it comes out. It's been having a little bit of. It hasn't really
we'll
started
check it
to.
out. Is it rated R as well?
No, it's PG-13.
Okay, then I think we feel pretty good about it.
So. Yeah. So this was a lot of fun, and I hope it was informative for everybody listening and for you guys as to what movies are coming out, and for you to make your own decisions based on reviews and everything.
Absolutely, go see movies in the theaters.
Go see the movies in the theaters.
In the theater,
because
please.
There's no experience like it.
Yep,
absolutely.
Point.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Anything else?
So there's a potential Moon Knight costume leak, and Marvel's not too happy about.
I heard this.
I heard they're really upset about it.
They are.
I like the costume.
I really like it. Some people are like, "Why does he look like a mummy?"
in like Egyptian mythology.
The character is Egyptian.
Yeah. Apparently, so Jeffrey Wright praises Robert Pattinson's acting chops for the Batman, his performance. And I mean, it just looks awesome. Apparently, the rumor right now is that Robert Pattinson only got paid $3 million for his role. I heard that. That is low. And this movie is a low budget movie. It's not like high tier. It's like
it's not
Joker level
or something.
Something like that. So it's going to be very...
Well, Joker did a lot with its budget, and it kind of gave it a certain grittiness.
It did, and that's what this movie's feeling like it's going to happen.
Cool.
So...
All right. Star Wars announced a new comic run called Crimson Reign. And when I say Reign, I'm not talking about RAIN.
Like the Reign of a King.
Like the Reign of a King. Crimson Reign, which is an allusion to Crimson Dawn.
Or the reigns of a deer.
No. Yes. It is a new comic series focused on Kira from Solo.
So we're going to finally...
And it's... from what I understand, taking place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Whoa. What?
So this could be really interesting. There's some Make Solo 2 happen buzz coming from the idea.
Let's hope.
It's just, I hate when companies do this. They're like, okay, well, you want the story? We're going to give you comic series.
No. I think that what they're saying, what we're hearing is that that Make Solo 2 will happen because it's going to lead into stories that are going to set up Crimson Reign.
Yeah, that would be cool.
What we're hoping for. So, well, that'll do it for this week. Thanks for listening to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast.
Yeah. If you had a good time listening, it'd be awesome if you could share this with your friends, please.
Yeah, and of course, this show is only a small part of the Tatooine Sons world. We're real active on Facebook and a little bit on Twitter, so make sure to follow us on those to get in on the action. And don't forget to join our Facebook group, Tatooine Sons Discussion Group. There's a lot of fun stuff going on
Answer the membership questions, so I will let you in the group. It's not that complicated. Don't forget to follow the show on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss our next episode. If you do miss an episode, just go to TatooineSons.com. Find it right there on the player on the front page. Remember that if you drop us a review on Podchaser, you can find the episodes there as well. We will make a donation in your honor to one child to help a child living in extreme poverty. Sam, next week, what if episode 3?
Which I'm not sure what it's going to be talking about.
Nate, what movies are talking about next week? Do you have any idea?
I don't know if there are any movies.
Not a great movie week.
We might just talk about Reminiscence and the other little things coming out, but
maybe we'll get a trailer or something like that for it. And I'm going to be talking about Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, the Luke Skywalker episode.
Very neat.
I'm excited to talk about that.
Excited.
All right. Anything else you guys would like to say?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, always.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.
Joy, please.